And Sandy, you are all set.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Christine. My name is Sandy Kane. I am the Human Resource and Training Manager here at Girl Scouts of the Green and White Mountains. For those of you that know me, I've been around Girl Scouts for a long time. I've been working here since about 2012 in different capacities, troop pathway and volunteer mission delivery. And now I've taken the human resources role, and I'm heading up our project for Volunteer Systems 2.0 and gsLearn this fall. So thanks for joining me. I'm excited about the sneak peek that you're about to see into our new system, into our new platforms. And I hope that by the end of this, you're as excited as I am as we move forward. So Volunteer Systems 2.0. Overall, it's a customer-focused platform that's supporting membership registration, renewal, troop management, activities, events, and finance management all at one time. The Volunteer Systems program is going to utilize new technology, business process changes, and upgraded tools to help reach, recruit, and activate new members and volunteers while continuing to support current membership in a better, streamlined, and more importantly, user-friendly way. Volunteer Systems 2.0 is enabling GSUSA and its councils to support its critical business operations on a single integrated digital platform. The upgrade is needed to keep pace with today's technological world. That's all great, but what exactly does that mean? Volunteer Systems 2.0, what exactly is it? Simply, it's a technology upgrade that will make all of our Girl Scouts experiences a little bit better. It will help the staff to better utilize their time through different platforms and processes, while it will allow our members to manage their accounts, renew and register faster and easier, with a little bit more help if they need it. Now, I can say that customer care, rock stars already, they don't really need a lot of more help, but believe it or not, they're going to become platinum stars with our new system because of the new upgrades and the easier help that they'll be able to give you. Easiest way to explain it all, on your smartphone, you have apps. Every once in a while, whether you know it or not, frequently in some cases, you open an app and it looks different. Maybe it's a change in color, maybe it's a change in style. Sometimes the upgrades happen behind the scenes. Sometimes it happens right in front of your eyes. With Volunteer Systems, that's exactly what's happening, is we're basically getting an upgrade to our technology. We're getting an upgrade to our app. So with the sneak peek, there are a few things that you need to know. First of all, our upgrade is scheduled right now for the end of November. So right around the Thanksgiving timeframe, this is when the new system will go into play. When we go live, our upgrade will be a small amount of time where normal business will be slightly disrupted. We're going to do our best to make sure that we minimize any disruption to overall Girl Scout activities. We'll definitely have plans in place for systems that might be down. Right now, our upgrades are still in development. Some of the screens that you're going to see today will look a little bit different when you actually see the final product because they are still being kind of finalized. The concept definitely will be the same, but the look might be a little bit different. And as we move closer and closer to November, we'll share information in our monthly outlook, definitely to our service teams, and then if we do need to do additional trainings for customers to be using it, we'll definitely do that. So with all that said, let's take a peek. So this winter, two parts are happening. Biggest changes in Volunteer Systems 2.0 is the way a potential member or customer can choose how they want to participate. Volunteer Systems 2.0 will have two parts. The first part this winter, where the membership side of things will launch. This will include a new way to look for troops, a new way to purchase memberships, become a member, renew memberships, and manage your troops. The second part will come in the spring when GS Events is added in, and the customer will be able to do all things that I just mentioned, plus register for events, camps, and programs all in one place at one time. So right now, you all know that we have Personify that kind of handles our activities and events outside of our normal system. When everything's finally up and going, everything will be one. Finally. Taking a look at what the new customer or new potential member and current members will see. One of the biggest upgrades to 2.0 is in the troop catalog. Currently referred to as the Opportunity Catalog or OpCat, the Participation or Troop Catalog will offer a new way to search for troops and series. Some of the changes will come in the form of how we create troops, how a volunteer can create a troop affiliations, focus, descriptions, grade level searches, map views, language, and also enhanced searches based on multiple criteria, as well as unsure support.
Hey, Sandy.
Yes.
On the previous slide where you had the
Yes.
date about spring.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Was that somebody's asking it, should that say spring 2021?
Yes, it should. It should say spring of 2021, next spring. Sorry about that. Thank you. I'll correct that slide. Sorry about that. So yes, spring of 2021, pop back there. This should be spring of 2021. So this winter membership launch, and then spring of 2021 GS events.
Thank you.
All right. So, okay. A couple other things that are new to the participation catalog, troop catalog, is going to include troop affiliation, short descriptions, language, and troop focus. So for a troop affiliation, all troops will be asked to identify themselves in a couple of different ways. With troop affiliation, most popular will probably be a school affiliation. For example, if you have a troop of say 15 girls and 11 or 12 of them all go to one school, the natural affiliation would be that school. In some communities, it might be a community center, or possibly a business, or possibly a faith-based community. It depends on what your troop does and who you associate yourself with. Those things are going to be used as search criteria. So if somebody's looking for a troop at Mary Smith School, they'll be able to find that based on the affiliation of that school. A troop decides what their affiliation is. Right now, as we're going through Go Live, or as we're going through to our Go Live date, we're working to identify troop affiliations based on the most common answer. And like I said, in most cases, it has to do with the school. If we can't really pick something because maybe the school's not clear, maybe there's 10 girls in a troop and 10 girls all belong to a different school, the volunteer support team is working with troop leaders directly to identify how they'd like their affiliation identified. With the short descriptions, we currently have that in our opportunity catalog, but we will be updating these. We'll start with a generic description. It's about 250 characters, and that will be able to be customized by our troop leaders as we move forward. Language is new. This means if your troop identifies speaking a particular language, for example, if you have a troop that mainly speaks Spanish, or if you have a troop that mainly speaks Japanese, you can identify that in our catalog. If you identify that in our catalog, it's a search criteria that people can use to narrow down the options that come up to this, that come up for them in a troop search. And then troop focus, another new area. With troop focus, 9 different areas are being identified: highest awards, community service, STEM, life skills, college readiness, creative arts, entrepreneurship, outdoor, and healthy living. These categories are things that troops like to do and like to be identified as. Most troops might not have a particular troop focus because they are all of those things. But some troops we know are very particular in that they are an outdoor troop or they are a STEM related troop, and we want them to be able to identify in that way. So when a potential member is interested in Girl Scouts, we will lead them to our website much like we do today, except what they find there is going to be a little bit different. They'll have multiple choices on how they want to proceed. Do they want to find a troop? Do they want to start or create a troop? Do they want to be a volunteer? Or do they want to look for an event when GS Event comes online? Depending on which they choose, they'll go to different places in Volunteer Systems 2.0. They won't know that, but we will. So let's start to see how they join a troop. The first thing that they're going to see when they join a troop, can you clarify? I just saw the question pop up. Can you clarify a troop can choose more than one focus? Yes, a troop can. We're going to talk about that a little bit further on too, but yes, a troop can choose more than one focus if they'd like to. They can choose all of them, one of them, or none of them. If they choose none of them, it won't be a criteria that's searched for, but they can definitely do, and they can change it throughout the year if they want to do that too. So going back to the troop catalog, when they decide they want to click on join a troop, the first thing that happens is they see kind of this fill in the blank screen that comes up. Taking a closer look at it, the first thing that pops up is the location. The location is done by either zip code or city, state, country. So zip code will be, if they type in their zip code, it will make the city state inaccessible. If they start to type in their city state, it will make their zip code inaccessible, okay? So the location is the first thing that they'll do. So let's say they put in their zip code. The next thing is number 2, the search radius. The search radius is by miles, and it will go up to, I believe it's like 100 miles. It's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, etc. miles. That search radius will help determine where that location winds up pinning itself on the map that you'll see soon. The search is also global now. So any location in the world can be entered, and the search will return troops that meet criteria searched for. Overseas customers can choose a country from a dropdown. When events comes online, this will be helpful because if we're looking as a troop for an event in a different state or in a different council, we'll be able to use this same kind of search criteria. So when we move through the location and when we move through the search radius, the next bottom part that you see here is the membership year. Membership year purchase choices are clearer and easier to understand. Here in this example, you see 3 choices for current year, next year, and extended year. In our live system, you'll see whichever options might be available at the time of joining. So right now we have, well, right now actually is the new year, so the only thing that you would see available for purchase would be current year. But when renewal opens in April, next year would also be available for purchase. And then in July, when extended year is available, that would be available for purchase. So depending on the time of year will be what the person will be able to see in their catalog, which makes it a lot clearer for potential members when they're trying to join. The next section comes into troop number and grade level. With the troop number, it is optional. With the grade level, it is optional. So if a person wants to join a particular troop, let's say their friend is in troop 12222 and they want to try and join that troop and they know that troop number, they'll go ahead and put that number in. As they start typing that number, it will become a pick list, which they can choose from. But a troop number is optional. You don't have to put a troop number in if you don't know one. It's just if you're looking for a particular one. And then with grade level, most people will probably search by the grade level that they're interested in, but they don't have to choose a grade level. If they don't choose a grade level, everything available in all grades will show up when they make their choices. Both the troop number and grade level, as I said, are not mandatory. Those are optional. One thing to note about the grade level is that the troop grade is validated against the grade of each girl during registration. So if somebody wants to join a 2nd grade troop, let's say, and when they put their birth date in later on, when they give information, the birth date doesn't match what a 2nd grader would be, they won't be allowed to register into a troop that isn't the appropriate grade level. Okay, so that's new because right now you can register into anything you want to. So let's take a look at the search if we put in some particular criteria. So let's look at a search of a zip code 08054 with a 40-mile radius. You can see here that over 100 troops got returned. Before we see what happens when we change our search criteria, let's take a peek at what each new search result screen might look like. So you can see at the top of the page, above the pink numbers, the kind of bar that goes across. Right now, we're on the left side with search. As somebody progresses through their purchase of a membership, it tells them how far along they are in the process. So that's something that they'll be able to, that's something that they'll be able to kind of check as they go along. How much longer do I have to do? They'll be able to see where they are. Below the pink numbers, on the left-hand side, you can see where the search results are. So it says we found 115 troops that match your search. Now, we know 115 troops for one person is way too many, right? So if you're searching for something, you have 115 troops resulted, obviously you've done something a little wrong. They didn't actually do it wrong, but what they did is they made their search really broad, right? We just put in a zip code at 40 miles, all right?
Can you get a quick question about the age level?
Mm-hmm.
So if a girl falls outside of the grade level typical age, how will they register?
So that would be something that we'd call into customer care and we'd be able to help with back office. And so it would kind of be why. Is it a daughter? Is it a sister? Is it an exception? Or does that troop, is it troop in the wrong category? Maybe that troop is supposed to be open for second graders, but isn't. So if somebody falls outside of that category, we would just ask that they, that either the troop leader or that mom contact us and we'd be able to get them in. So they can still do it. They just wouldn't be able to do it on their own online.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So below the pink numbers, we saw that there's 115. On the left-hand side here, you can see that troop 46123 is the first of the list of the 115 troops that a potential member will be able to see. So we're going to take a closer look at all that troop information in just a couple moments. On the right here, you can see an interactive map which shows a pin for the troops that are available. Now, please note, the exact location of a troop meeting is not going to be given in those pins. The pins are approximate, okay? So once a membership has been purchased, the family would log into their account to find out the exact meeting locations. I do see another question, I'll grab that. I have a 2-level troop. Will my troop number filter for those grades accordingly? Yes. Whatever grades you set your troop up in is what will filter. So if your troop is second grade brownies and 4th grade juniors, let's say, you'd be able to put 2nd grade and 4th grade when you set your troop up. So yes, that would work that way, Ingrid. Okay, so back to the map. So just remember that the exact location won't be shown. So if the troop meets at 13 Balmoral Road in Windham, New Hampshire, which is my house address isn't going to show up. But once a girl chooses my troop and registers and they log into their account, at that point, they'd be told the exact location of that meeting. Now, in some cases, if the troop is affiliated with Windham High School and the meeting location is Windham High School, people will be able to figure that out. But for the most part, the exact location will not be disclosed. So, as we said, 115 troops is a lot. So I'm going to work on narrowing down the search a little bit so you can see what the different options for people would be. So if you click on the area, I'm not going to actually click on it, but if you click on the area where you see the pink circle number 1, that would allow you to actually pick a troop number if you didn't do that in the first place. Okay, so you'd be able to put a troop number in there if you decided to. Number 2 would allow you to sort by distance or by name or by language. So this is associated right now by the default, I should say, is the radius, is the location. If you decided to sort by name, it would put the troop names in order. So troop is obviously the beginning for everything, but then it would put the troop that started with a 1 first, and then a 2, etc. Series are also going to be located this way. So series would come up on the pick list as something by their alphabetical order. Okay. So they could, so number 2, again, sort by, and name is an option. Or they could sort by language. So if they know off the top that they're going to be looking for a Hispanic troop or looking for a troop that speaks German or Japanese or something like that, they would be able to sort by that also. That would obviously be something they wouldn't know intuitively. That's something that we would probably tell them at a recruitment event or if we're registering somebody. Number 3 will allow you to change your miles search. So remember, we started this search with a 40-mile radius and we returned 115 troops. If we wanted to change that to something a little less, we would probably narrow down our mileage search. And now number 4 will give you further abilities to filter. And then you can see right to the right of that what our criteria are. You have that zip code and you have that radius. Okay, so this is what somebody's going to see when they first start our troop search criteria. If they choose that filters button, that number 4 filters button, it will bring them back the filter screen that they started with in the beginning, which you can see here on the left-hand side. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we already talked about, the grade, the year, the membership, etc. But it will also give them 3 more options. It will give them the affiliation, and this is where they could put in that school or that community center if they wanted to. It will also give them a troop focus. So they can say, I'd like to focus on outdoor skills, and they would be able to filter by the troops that have identified that way. And then the last one, which I don't have on here, also has languages available. So they would then again be able to choose a language if they wanted to and focus that filter a little bit smaller in this direction. So I'm going to change my criteria a little bit. I'm going to change my search radius to 10 miles, and I'm going to change the grades to second grade. Okay, so before we just had a zip and a radius of 40 miles. I'm going to change to 10 miles, and I'm going to change it to second grade. And I'm also going to add a focus of outdoor. Let's see what happens. So, uh-oh, what happened? Nothing happened. Now we received a result of 0. To remove a filter, all we would need to do is go up and click the X next to it. So we narrowed our search too much at this point. We've chosen things, we've chosen a different radius, we've chosen a grade, and we've chosen a focus. So now I want to say, okay, well, that's too narrow. I'm going to go ahead and remove something. So all I would have to do, as you can see on the screen, is click the little X box next to that, and it will remove that particular filter. So once I remove that filter, now things become a little bit more manageable. You can see here on the left-hand side, sort of near where you see the circle number 8, right to the left of that, there is one of 2 results. So with the new criteria that I've put in, we now have 2 troops. Instead of 115 or instead of 0, we have 2 troops that we're looking at. So let's take a little bit of a closer look, all these pink bubbles, but let's take a little bit of a closer look at all the things that will be available to somebody on the troop screen. Okay, so section number 1, pretty easy, the name of the troop. This is just the troop number, whatever that is, or the name of the series. Number 2, you can see a forming troop with a purple exclamation point. Forming troops will show up when either 0 or only 1 leader has signed on to this troop. So if a troop is already active, or if a troop already has 2 leaders, that will just be blank. There will be nothing there. But if somebody's searching for a troop, we know that they want to know sometimes, is this a newly forming troop or is this a troop that's already been around? Okay, so that's where a forming troop area would show. Number 3 is the council. Why is the council important? The council is important because for the first time, we're going to be able to do cross-council registrations. If I live near a border and I find a troop that fits my needs across that border, I would be able to register for that. So this would show you which council that particular troop is part of. Number 4, the affiliation. Whatever that affiliation is that we talked about, this one is Mary E. Roberts Elementary School. This could be the church, this could be the synagogue, this could be the community center. Number 5 would be the grade range. Number 6 and number 7, open spots and filled spots. In this particular forming troop, we see that there are 8 girl spots and 2 adult spots still available, and already registered into this troop are 5 girls and 1 adult. So open slots and filled slots will be right available for people to see. How many other girls are there in this troop? How many other adults are there in this troop? And then number 8, kind of pop back a little bit to the top, you can see a little like green box with an arrow in it. This is a copy link. This is a new feature. By clicking on this icon, it will give the potential member a link that they can share with others that might be interested in joining the same troop as them. So if they're interested in joining this troop, oh, this one looks good, they can go ahead and hit that copy link, and they can send that to their friend and say, hey friend, I'm joining this troop. You should join this troop too. Number 9 is, right now it says form this troop because this is a newly forming troop. If the troop is already a troop, it would say join this troop. But number 9 is where they would add a girl membership or add an adult membership for purchase. They can add more than one at a time. If they wanted to register 3 girls into this troop, they could register 3 girls. If they wanted to register themselves and their husband or themselves and their partner, they could register 2 adults too. So number 9 is where they would add those memberships. And then number 10, you can see on the pinned map on the right-hand side, it shows the location of the troop. Again, remember the location isn't the exact location, but approximate location as to where that meeting space is. So lots of information in a little box here. Much easier to read than it is in our current opportunity catalog. Now, a couple more things to note on the troop. Couple more areas. Number 11, volunteer positions that are available in this troop. I'm going to go back one slide really quick. Here you can see that open slots for 2 adults, filled spots for 1 adult, but it doesn't say anything about volunteers. This is just adult spots that they might have available in the troop. Here, volunteer positions that they're looking for. This particular troop is looking for a cookie manager, and also, as we know, they're looking for a troop leader because the troop is forming. If they click on either of these links, they can get a very short description of what that position is. It's only about 2 or 3 sentences, but it'll give them a little bit of an explanation. Number 12 is that troop short description that we told you about. It will basically, whatever that customized short description is, will show up here for them so they can get a little bit of an insight into the troop. Number 13 would list the focus, if there was one, or if there were multiple focuses, would be listed here. And then the active from date it corresponds with the troop's start date and represents the day the troop will start meeting. And it's useful to see how long a troop has been active. So if you already have all of us who are current members who have current troops, our troops might have started in 2015 or 2016 or 2018 and are still going, okay? For newly forming troops, it would start when they're starting to meet right now. And that date drives when they show up in this catalog. So if you have 2 leaders that are kind of forming their troop and they're like, you know what, we're gonna start meeting in January, that troop won't show up until that start date. Okay, so this is a new feature that we have too. We can kind of control when things show up in the catalog and when they don't. If a troop is ending, so we have a troop that's disbanding. Let's say they're graduating in May and they know they're not going to be meeting in May or June or July. Or let's say a troop is disbanding, but we know they're disbanding in September at the end of the membership year. We can put an end date in here and people will be able to see when that is. And once that end date hits, it will automatically mark itself disbanded. Disbanded troops will not show up on the catalog, so people won't join troops that are going to be ending. Okay, so the search criteria that I've described here helps a potential member to choose the troop that they would like to join. The system upgrades that Volunteer Systems 2.0 will bring us will allow our members a much more user-friendly, easier to navigate, streamlined, and information-packed way to choose how they want to participate. Okay, so we're going to do a little knowledge check. You don't actually have to answer, but in your mind you can answer. So, first question, which fields are required to perform an online troop search? Of these 5, only 3 are required. Do you know which 3 they would be? Okay, so the membership year, the search radius, and the grade level. Correct, Allison, great. The troop number is not required, and the location, sorry, I said that wrong because I was reading your answer. The membership year, the search radius, and the location. The troop number and the grade level are not required. They're optional and they can be part of it, but what we're looking for is making sure that they have something in the location, an area to search around, and the membership year. Next question, is this true or false? Troop searches are limited by council. Only troops associated with our council will be able to join or volunteer. Correct, this is false. Our system will be set up for an upgrade now that all girls can join our organization in any council, and they'll be able to see what's available to them around where they live. And then the last one here, if a potential member chooses grades 2, 3, and 4 as part of their search, which result will they see? Good job, everybody. Exactly. They will see all. They will see troop 11111, 11112, 11113, and 11114, because any combination of the grade that they're choosing would be part of that result, would be part of that search criteria. Good job. All right. So let's move on to what happens next. So now they've searched through this material and they've kind of looked through and they found some things on the map. They found some things that they might want to share with some friends and they're interested. So then what happens? Okay. So if you notice one thing up until this point, very differently from our current version of volunteer systems, we've not yet asked the potential member for any personal contact information. The potential member has had the opportunity to search for troops without giving us any of that. They've basically been shopping. They've been shopping for a troop or series, but they've been shopping. Think Amazon. If you've never shopped with Amazon before, you can shop, and when you're ready to add something to your cart, you log in or create an account. In Volunteer Systems 2.0, the same thing's going to happen. Once a purchase, once a troop, once a series, once a product, when we get into camps and programs, when GS Events comes online, once a purchase has been decided on, the potential member will click on register and their items will be added into their shopping cart. Remember, I shared with the addition of GS Events, they'll be able to do this with camps, they'll be able to do this with programs, etc. We all are going to work the same way. It's basically a shopping cart, just like Bed Bath & Beyond. That's where I like shopping. Once they click register or go to their cart, they're going to be asked to log in. So if they log in, this would be our login like we have right now in our system currently. If they don't have a login, if they're new to this because they're just becoming a member or interested in becoming a member, notice the pink square. They'll be directed to create an account, to sign up now. At this point, this is when we start to collect their information. So they'll be directed to create an account by giving us the things that you see in pink. Their first name, their last name, their phone number, their postal code, their email address. They will create their own password. And then the two that are highlighted, I agree with GSUSA privacy policies and I agree with terms and conditions, are all mandatory. Those have to be checked, they have to be filled in order for them to move further. Texting in, email opting in, phone opting in, and photo opting in do not have to be filled out, but they can fill them out if they want to. Email opt-in will be checked, but they can uncheck that if they want to. And then from there, they're going to go ahead and hit create an account. When they create an account, they will get a thanks for creating your account. A verification link is going to be sent to the email address that they wrote down or that they put in. They will then have to go to that email to verify their email. If they didn't get the verification, they weren't paying attention, etc., they'll get this screen. And then they'll go to their email, they'll see the Girl Scouts account activation email, and then they're going to go ahead and activate. So first step is to activate, blah, blah, blah. They're going to click activate. And then they've now created an account. They can then do a couple different things. They can exit out if they wanted to, but they do have an account created with Girl Scouts, or they can hit complete registration. And if they hit complete registration, they will then come back to the login screen and they will be asked to log in using their new account, using their new credentials. This whole piece right here is new. Okay, so that will be a new piece that's coming to the new volunteers. After they log in, we'll start collecting the rest of their information. They're going to then start adding all the basic stuff that we need when they purchase a membership. Street addresses will be validated against the U.S. Postal Service database. So here the customer can start entering their address and it will fill it in for them based on a pick list. They will enter their demographics, their ethnicity, races, birth date, their school they're attending. Schools will auto-populate based on a pick list of schools. Any school within a 30-mile radius of the zip code location that you put in will be part of the information, will be part of that pick list. And all this information will be collected just like you're registering for pretty much anything. Once you get past that general information, your personal information, you come to the caregiver screen. The caregiver screen is a little bit different than we're used to in the sense that you decide, you can basically assign who the caregiver is. So if a grandmother is making this purchase on behalf of mom, she would fill out this information with mom as the caregiver. If mom's filling out this information as the caregiver, she would fill it out as herself, and you can see up in the right-hand corner, there's the I am a caregiver checkbox. That will identify them as the primary caregiver for that particular girl. Okay. One of the areas that I don't have highlighted today, but I do want to mention, is one of the areas is you can, as a primary caregiver, you can assign rights to the household to other people. So if you want grandma to be able to see the same things you see, if you want stepdad or dad, if you're in a divorce situation, and dad or stepmom, you can assign multiple people to all have the same rights that you have, unlike in our system now. In our system now, it's one person, and that's the only person that can have information. A primary caregiver can assign different people to be able to all participate with the Girl Scouts experience. So again, caregiver information, going through normal kind of stuff. Then you're choosing a membership year. Again, works the same way as we talked about earlier, depending on when it is during the year, is which products will come up for you. And then here you see choose payment type, credit card, or the person would apply for financial assistance. There will be one more piece added when we go live. It's not in the development screenshots right now, but there will be one more piece when we go live. We will be able to use cookie dough credits for payment in our new system. Yay! So when you have cookie dough and a girl wants to use that to purchase either membership, program, etc., there will be a program credit area that you'll be able to do off of this screen also. Once they've done all that, they've put all that information in, they've picked their membership year, they've chosen their payment type, they basically can review their cart. Okay, and when they're reviewing their cart, you can see over on the right-hand side, the Girl Scout Promise and Law that will have to be checked. One thing different in our system now compared to the system that we will have is that everything you purchase in one cart. So if you have been looking at the event screen and you purchase a week of camp, and if you've bought tickets for Disney on Ice, and you've also purchased some Girl Scout memberships, and maybe an event that has a t-shirt associated with it, and you've purchased all of these things, they will all show up in your cart review. Okay, so a cart review is basically just like it is at Bed Bath & Beyond or Amazon or any place else. You can see all of the things that you have, and you can edit or remove those based on your choices. Here's where we would ask for donations. There's a little box where your donation goes, which explains where your donation goes if they do donate to Girl Scouts. And then again, they would have to click the Promise and Law box. After that's all done, they reviewed, they've paid, they get a confirmation. Once they get that confirmation, they can print the receipt if they want to. They will also get an email telling them of their purchase that can be used for troop records, and it can be used for receipts for their bank accounts if they need to. And if they wanted to, they can go right from here to manage their account. Pretty simple, very straightforward. And if you look at the top bar, we started with a search on the right-hand side, and we've moved all the way over to finish. We've now purchased our membership. So let's do a quick little knowledge check again. Put the registration steps below in order for a first-time customer registering new girls. Everybody probably can't type very fast, but I'm going to move forward. So the first step is to search for a troop. Then you add your registrations to your shopping cart. Then you complete your account. You activate the account, and then you log in. Okay, another question. True or false? The blue highlighted fields are optional when creating an account online. Those blue fields are the optional fields. They can check or uncheck those as they go. And then true or false. The grade of the girl has to match the grade level defined on the troop record in the shopping cart in order to enter member details. And that is true. The grade level does need to match, or else it will show you an error and it will not let you move forward. Again, just going back to the question that we had earlier, we can still register them into a troop. We would just need a little help doing that. So does the leader of the troop that the girl registered into automatically get notified that he or she has a new member? Is the question from Sue? Yes. Very similar to the way that it is now. A leader will get notified that they have a new girl into the troop. They are not finalized with what those messages look like, but from what I've seen so far, they are actually clearer than the ones that are sent out now, so that the leader can actually know, is it a girl that registered, which troop they registered into, or if it's an adult that registered, and for what reason. So yes, that is still happening. All right. So looking at the account. So now we've looked for a troop, we've purchased a membership, and now let's see what happens in the My Account. So initially, when a person begins the create account workflow to purchase a new membership, they register as a non-member, or they register for an event. That's what starts their account. This would be the customer gateway to managing their household. Most often, they're going to use this for renewals or to update account information or troop participation information. And they would access this the same way we access our My GS now through the website. So basically, this new account is really no different than what our My GS is right now. However, it's going to be a much more expanded version of what we're able to do. So now we go onto our website, we click onto My GS. A troop leader or a volunteer logs on this way, and then when our system upgrade occurs, it'll be the same thing, except it'll be My Account. When they log into their account, when they log into My Account, even though it's their account, they're going to see a couple of different things. This is what their new menu is going to look like. There's 4 main parts to it. This dashboard is what we're calling their account. You can see on the left, the menu there is a bunch of different things that we're actually going to talk about, but it's basically their navigation tool. In the middle, where it says welcome, it's a list of all of the people in their household, what they're affiliated with, their participation, and then where their membership stands. So this is how they would manage their household. The right-hand side will show all their events. It's an events dashboard, which basically, if they're participating in an event coming up, a camp program coming up, a program coming up, a virtual program coming up, anything that they have registered for their household would show up for them on this right-hand side events dashboard. And then on the bottom is a summary of their troop participation. So they can actually go in and look at their troop and see when the meetings are, how many girls are registered in their troop, how many adults are registered in their troop, and if they have a role in that troop. So from this main dashboard, without really having to click on much, they'll be able to see lots of different things. Taking a closer look at that a little bit, you can see the household area, the events dashboard on the right, number 2, the My Troops area on the bottom, number 3, and then their menu board on the right-hand side, number 4. Gives you a little bit of clearer view than the first picture. Once a member is logged into here, this becomes then their way of doing everything. In their household, the picture that I have on the screen here gives you a closer look at what their actual household looks like by person. And this is how easy it is to renew. Basically, they're clicking checkboxes. I want to renew this person. I want to renew them in this role, etc. So very easy for them to be able to edit details and also renew members. Okay. So where you see number 1 with the arrow down to the bottom, that number 1 corresponds to the circle in blue. If they wanted to edit anything about this particular household member, maybe they want to edit an email address, or they want to edit a phone number or something like that, very easy for them to come here and do that. Okay, and then they can do that for the all members of their family. They can see what members there are, etc. So it's just a much cleaner view of pretty much everything that you're looking at. My Troops tab is the same thing. So I'm just going to go back one slide here so you can see on the left-hand side, the gray here is the My Household. By clicking the next one under their view, it is the My Troops. When they're in My Troops, they can see, if you look at the menu on the left-hand side, all of the troops that they're associated with, and then they can see all the details of those troops. So a parent isn't going to be able to edit anything. A parent isn't going to be able to see anything. Change anything in a troop, but a parent would be able to see, oh, they're looking for a volunteer role in my troop, or this is the time of the meeting, or this is how many girls or how many adults are needed in this troop or already registered into this troop. So depending on what they are looking at is what they can or they can't, depending on what their role is what they can or they can't see. When I mean by that, this next slide shows what a troop leader can see. So I'm going to go back a slide again. This would be what a parent would see for their troops. But then if they were a troop leader for their troop, they would be able to see more details. And looking at the gold circles, they can edit from here. New in Volunteer Systems 2.0, they can edit meeting details. They can edit meeting times. They can edit meeting addresses. They can change the contact information for volunteer roles in their troop. Let's say the cookie chair got a new phone number. They can go ahead and update that for her. And then if they want to renew girls into their troop or renew adults in their troop, they can also edit the adult and girl details from their troop tab. So if a girl moved during the year, they can edit that girl's new address. If a girl got her phone number changed during the year, they can do that from their My Troops tab. It gives the troop leader a lot more control over what their troop listing shows. None of these things have to be approved by council before they automatically go live. So the left side, the My Account tab, the volunteer can access their household, like we just mentioned. They can access their troops, like I just mentioned. They can access their events that they're registered for. So once GS Events goes live, they can see what week of camp they're registered for. They can see which program they're registered for. When they click on that My Events and click into the actual program that they're registered for, they would be able to see the information about that program. They'd be able to see what the pack list is for the museum overnight. They can see what the requirements are, what the start time is. They can see if they need to bring a bag lunch, etc. So all that will be available to them once GS Events comes live through the My Events area of their My Account. They will access the volunteer toolkit through this area. They will also access gsLearn through this area, which we'll talk about next. They can contact council if they want and log out if they need to do that. So that menu bar on the left-hand side will be how they navigate through mostly everything. All right. gsLearn. What is gsLearn? So gsLearn is also new. It's not necessarily new with Volunteer Systems 2.0, but we are rolling it out with Volunteer Systems 2.0. So gsLearn is the official online and on-demand training forum that GSUSA has developed. It empowers users, also known as learners, to complete training as it works best for them. Learners have access to Girl Scout specific content that supports accuracy and consistency across our entire Girl Scout movement, along with general knowledge courses that can be available through our vendor, Litmos. So right now, we have access to gsLearn. If you wanted to log into gsLearn right now, you can do that. You would go to our website, you would choose the My GS tab. Under Volunteer Toolkit, you would then get the screen on the right-hand side where you can either enter your volunteer toolkit, enter your member profile, or go into gsLearn. In the future, when we move to Volunteer Systems 2.0, you would access gsLearn through your menu tab screen, through My Account. When you go into gsLearn, the first time you're in there, my systems administrator allowed me to use her profile, so I did ask. But when you go into the gsLearn the first time, you will get a welcome, and it will ask you if you want to continue to your dashboard. When you say yes, you go into your dashboard, and this is what your dashboard currently looks like. You have home, content library, live sessions, my GS. You can collapse that menu if for some reason you wanted to on the left-hand side. And right now, all of our volunteers have 3 courses, also known as learning paths, assigned to them. If you decide you want to take one of those learning paths, you would click into that. This one is the Successful Leadership Learning Series. And you can see that in this learning path, there are 5 different courses. These courses, Foundations 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Getting Your Troop Outdoors, are all part of this learning path. When you complete each course, you need to take the first one to be able to get into the second one. You need to complete the second one to be able to get into the third one. And when you complete all the courses, or as you're completing the courses, you'll see that it monitors your completion rate, 20%, 30%, etc., as you move through your courses. When you're doing that, this is part of the Foundations Learning Series. Most of the courses that are available to us right now on gsLearn are a webinar style, where they're not live like we're doing right now, but they're more of a webinar style where you can start and stop, you can reverse, you can go forward, you can review it if you want to, and you can take it more than one time. This woman here is part of the Foundations courses. She kind of leads us through all of the foundation courses that we're taking. So, coming soon to Girl Scouts of the Green and White Mountains, over the next couple of months, there will be new required trainings for new leaders and volunteers through gsLearn. So right now, when you go in and you look at your dashboard, you will see the Successful Leadership Learning Series. You will see the Girl Scouts Get Outdoors. As we move forward into volunteer systems and as we move forward through this year, more content will be added to your dashboard. If you're a new leader, you will be required to take the Successful Leadership Learning Series within a certain amount of time after your approval. The process for all that is still being worked out. Volunteer support team at council will be working with the new leaders to make sure that they have access to gsLearn, they know what they need to do, and that they take the courses. Topic-specific webinars for what's going on in the world and what's going on in Girl Scouts will be available as we assign new courses. For example, a few courses that are going to be available to us pretty soon have to do with how to run virtual meetings, have to do with how to deal with COVID-19 and Girl Scouts. And there's a couple other ones that have to do with how to run a Zoom meeting, as well as getting your troops outdoors in this time of year in New England, let's put it that way. So there's lots of different topics. Sensitive issues and behavioral health will also be available to us. GSUSA is putting together different trainings on how to deal with these kind of maybe behavioral issues in your troop, or if you have girls that have family issues or other things that you're dealing with and you just need help, these kind of courses will be available also. We're also looking at adding courses having to do specifically for not new volunteers, but volunteers that might be changing levels. Let's say you're a Brownie level leader and you're going to be bridging to juniors next year and you want some level experience. That's something that we'll be able to help you with. We don't want to overload you because there's probably about 500 different courses I could load on your dashboard right now, and I don't want to do that because nobody's going to take any of the courses. So we're kind of starting simple by the Successful Leadership Learning Series and the Get Outdoors, and we'll be adding things as we go. There's definitely going to be specific service team trainings that will be coming out this fall. And there will be our cookie training for our cookie sale in January. Our cookie training will all be through gsLearn this year. So right now, Ingrid asked, do we currently have level courses? We do have level courses right now. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. In version 1, in our reality right now, and we do not have level courses. However, in VS 2.0 in gsLearn, I do have level courses that I can assign to you. We haven't actively done that, but if you are interested in having me assign some of these gsLearn level courses, I can do those individually until we roll them out to everybody. And then what is the relationship between GS University and gsLearn? GS University is no longer. And so the relationship, there really isn't one. It's kind of gsLearn is for the most part taking what GS University's place used to be. Okay, Ingrid, I will get back to you and get you some Brownie level courses. Yes, so Ursula's asking the question, will leaders be able to browse for a course that might help them? Yes, right now the content is very limited as to what I have available to you, but as I start to load content in over the next couple of months, yes, you can. I'm going to actually go back a couple slides. This section here where it says content library on the left in the panel, they will be able to search through that content library and look for all kinds of different things. So maybe not necessarily assigned directly to your dashboard, but you'd be able to look for all the content that's available. Allison posted the link also to GS University for anybody that's interested in that on there. They have some great material on there.
Right. Although nothing has been added to there since 2016. So while there are some great materials on there, GS USA is definitely focusing on gsLearn, and it's where they're putting their new resources. So gsLearn will really be the more current resource for our leaders.
The other piece for gsLearn is I'm going to be doing monthly Outlook newsletter spotlights for courses that we're adding. So that will be one way, aside from looking at the content, but you'll be able to kind of look through the Outlook. You'll be able to see different courses that are added. And as we get live with Volunteer Systems 2.0, and as this has kind of been taking up a lot of my time, just getting us all ready to move into Volunteer Systems 2.0, my concentration will shift from Volunteer Systems 2.0 into gsLearn and GS Events. So with gsLearn, I'll be able to add more things, build more content, assign different courses if you're interested in that, and really be able to kind of work on that with our membership over the coming months, and then over the next year or so, to really get it to where we need to be for really being able to utilize it as our training platform for all leaders, not just new leaders, but all leaders across the board. There's also some really good highlights in gsLearn that has to do with higher awards. And without getting too much into that right now, because sneak peek, we'll get more into the content for gsLearn at a different time, but there's some higher award workshops that we can give links to gsLearn directly to those girls. So girls that are interested in their gold or silver or even bronze can log into gsLearn and be able to take some of those higher award workshops also. There's things that have to do with travel. There's hundreds of courses that are out there and available to us. So it's a super exciting platform that we'll be able to utilize. Other good part, we can do live trainings on here. So through gsLearn, we'd be able to put live trainings up to do kind of like we're doing right now through Zoom, but schedule them and look at them and view them through gsLearn. And then the other part to gsLearn has to do with when you need it. If you want to watch something at 10 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock in the morning because that's what works for you, it's there at your fingertips. So and then across the board, all of GS USA is currently using gsLearn or will be using gsLearn. So all of the training will be the same where you're going cross councils. So that's the presentation for tonight. Training resources, help for gsLearn, sneak peek into Volunteer Systems 2.0, what it's going to look like from the participation catalog, what it's going to look like for a new member, a little bit of what you're going to be able to see as a troop leader, as a troop manager, very sneaking into what a bit of GS Events will start to look like as that comes online. But I hope that you know a little bit more than you did when you started an hour ago, and that you're a little bit more excited about it, because I know I certainly am. I think it's going to be a great thing coming forward to us as we move forward into 2021 and get past 2020 finally. Sue DeSalvo asks, will there still be face-to-face training? And did you already say when the GS 2.0 is kicking off? So will there still be face-to-face training? Yes, we will still have face-to-face training. So you will still be able to see our lovely faces as we go. I do not believe it's going to be like it was years ago where there's mandatory in-person training. I know that we got away from that back in the 2015-16 timeframe, but we still will have the ability to do face-to-face trainings. And then did I say when GS 2.0 is kicking off? No, not officially. I will have something in this month's Outlook, kind of giving some information about GS. I'm sorry, are you asking about VS 2.0 or gsLearn? Because VS 2.0 is kicking off in end of November. GSLearn, I will have something available in the Outlook this month so people can start utilizing those trainings as soon as they want to. Anybody else has any questions? Let me know. Put them in the chat log. I'll be here for a few more minutes. I appreciate you guys coming to my session, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and go spread the word. Everybody should be interested in our new systems and GSLearn especially. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.